Have you ever had the strange feeling that something appeared in your life at exactly the right moment? Maybe it was a conversation, a book, an idea, or even a single sentence that refused to leave your mind. Moments like that are easy to dismiss as coincidence, but sometimes they are invitations. They challenge you to stop moving on autopilot and start paying attention. I want you to treat this moment the same way, not because it's magical, but because your willingness to listen could change the direction of your life. Out of billions of people, you're here, listening instead of scrolling past. That tells me something. Deep down, a part of you is searching for more. Maybe you've accomplished things that others admire, yet you still feel capable of something greater. Maybe you've been carrying an idea for years, but keep convincing yourself that the timing isn't right. Or maybe you've spent so long following expectations that you've forgotten what you actually want. Whatever brought you here, don't ignore it. Most people spend their entire lives waiting. They wait for confidence before taking action. They wait for someone to approve of their dreams. They wait for perfect conditions that never arrive. The uncomfortable truth is that no one is coming to hand you permission. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't chosen because they're luckier or smarter. They're simply the ones who decide to begin before they feel completely ready. I need you to understand something important. The future doesn't belong to the people with the most talent. It belongs to the people who are willing to think differently and act consistently while everyone else hesitates. Every breakthrough starts as an unpopular idea. Every great achievement begins with a decision that nobody else understands. If you've been waiting for a sign that it's time to trust yourself, this is it. You don't need to have every answer today. You don't need a flawless plan. You only need the courage to take the first step with the resources you already have. Once you move, you'll learn. Once you learn, you'll improve. Once you improve, you'll discover possibilities you couldn't even imagine while standing still. Don't let this become another message you forget tomorrow. Let it become the moment you finally decide that your life deserves your full potential. Now that you've made the decision to stop waiting, there's another truth you need to face. Many people never actually live their own lives. They spend years following a blueprint they didn't create. From a young age, you're told what success should look like, what career is respectable, what risks are acceptable, and how your life is supposed to unfold. If you're not careful, you can spend decades climbing a ladder, only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. The world has a way of rewarding people who fit neatly into expectations. It's comfortable to blend in, to think like everyone else, and to make decisions based on what other people will approve of. But comfort has never been the birthplace of innovation. Every meaningful change in history started because someone was willing to question what everyone else accepted as normal. I want you to challenge every assumption you've been carrying. Ask yourself a simple question: why do I believe this? If your answer is because everyone else does, that's not a reason, that's a habit. Learn to strip problems down to their fundamentals instead of accepting inherited opinions. When you understand something from the ground up, you stop being limited by conventional thinking. That's when real creativity begins. Comparison is another trap that quietly steals your future. It's easy to look at someone else's progress and convince yourself you're behind, but you're measuring your life against a story you don't fully understand. You don't know the sacrifices they made, the failures they endured, or the doubts they overcame. More importantly, their destination was never supposed to be yours. Your responsibility isn't to become a copy of someone successful. It's to become the first version of yourself that fully lives up to your own potential. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs people who solve problems in ways nobody has imagined yet. Your unique perspective, your experiences, and even your struggles are advantages when you stop trying to hide them. There will always be critics. Some people will tell you your ideas are unrealistic simply because they can't see what you see. Don't expect everyone to understand your vision before you've built it. That's not how progress works. People usually believe in something only after it succeeds. Stop asking whether your path looks normal. Start asking whether it moves you toward the future you truly want to create. The moment you stop living someone else's blueprint is the moment your real journey begins. Once you stop living by someone else's expectations, you'll discover the next challenge isn't finding opportunities. It's surviving the setbacks that come with creating something meaningful. This is where most people turn around. They don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they decide that one difficult moment defines who they are. I want you to change the way you think about failure. Most people treat it like a final verdict, as if one mistake means the dream was never meant for them. That's one of the biggest lies you'll ever believe. Failure isn't a judgment. It's information. It's reality giving you feedback that your current approach isn't working yet. That single word, yet, changes everything. Every ambitious goal comes with obstacles that cannot be avoided. If you're trying to build something that has never existed before, you should expect problems. You should expect criticism. You should expect moments when everything feels uncertain. Those moments aren't signs that you're on the wrong path. They're often proof that you're attempting something difficult enough to matter. Think about the people who seem unstoppable. From the outside, it looks like they move from one success to another without hesitation. What you don't see are the countless attempts that failed, the sleepless nights, the rejected ideas, the experiments that produced nothing, and the moments when continuing seemed irrational. The difference isn't that they avoided failure. The difference is that they refused to let failure become their identity. You have to separate who you are from what happened. A failed project doesn't make you a failure. A rejected proposal doesn't reduce your value. A wrong decision doesn't erase your ability to make a better one tomorrow. Every setback contains a lesson that success could never teach you. If you're willing to study it instead of running from it, you become stronger with every challenge. The greatest advantage you can develop isn't intelligence alone. It isn't talent or luck. It's resilience, the ability to stand back up when everyone expects you to stay down. While others quit after the first obstacle, you keep improving. While others complain about circumstances, you search for solutions. Over time, that persistence becomes almost impossible to compete with. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid failure. The goal is to fail, learn, adapt, and move forward faster each time. If you can endure what makes others quit, you've already gained an advantage that can't be copied. If you're serious about building an extraordinary life, then you have to understand the value of the one resource you can never recover: time. Money can be earned again. Opportunities can return in different forms. Even failure can become an advantage if you learn from it. But every hour that passes is gone forever. That's why the way you spend your time determines the quality of the future you're creating. Most people don't lose their dreams in a single dramatic moment. They lose them in small pieces. 10 minutes wasted here. An hour spent chasing distractions there. Endless scrolling. Endless meetings without purpose. Endless conversations about things that don't move life forward. Individually, these moments seem harmless. Together, they quietly steal years from your potential. I want you to become ruthless about protecting your attention. Your attention is the engine behind every meaningful achievement. Wherever it goes, your future follows. If your focus is constantly pulled in 100 different directions, don't be surprised when your progress feels slow. The world is designed to compete for your attention because attention creates value. The question is, are you investing that value in your own goals, or are you giving it away to everyone else? Every morning, ask yourself one simple question. What's the most important thing I can accomplish today? Not 10 things, not 20, one thing that genuinely moves your mission forward. Finish that before you allow the noise of the world to dictate your priorities. Momentum isn't created by being busy. It's created by consistently finishing what matters most. You'll also need to become comfortable saying no. Every commitment you accept is a commitment you're making with your future time. If something doesn't align with your purpose, have the courage to decline it. You don't have to attend every event. You don't have to respond to every opinion. You don't have to prove yourself to people who aren't building the future with you. Discipline isn't about filling every minute with work. It's about making intentional choices. Rest when it helps you recover. Learn when it helps you grow. Build when it creates progress. But never confuse being occupied with being productive. They're not the same thing. Your greatest breakthroughs won't come from doing more things. They'll come from eliminating everything that doesn't matter. Guard your time as if your future depends on it, because it does. Now that you've learned to protect your time, there's one final barrier that keeps countless people from building the future they dream about. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of opportunity. It's the belief that one day they'll finally feel ready. They imagine there will be a perfect moment when all the uncertainty disappears. Every skill has been mastered, every risk has been calculated, and confidence arrives before the first step. That moment doesn't exist. If you wait until you feel completely prepared, you'll spend your life watching other people build the future you could have created. The truth is that confidence isn't something you collect before taking action. Confidence is something you earn by taking action repeatedly. Every meaningful achievement begins with uncertainty. That's not a flaw in the process. It's the process itself. Think about every major decision you've ever made. There was always a reason to hesitate. There were unanswered questions, possible failures, and people who doubted your chances. If you had demanded certainty before moving forward, you would have remained exactly where you were. Progress has never belonged to those who needed guarantees. It belongs to those who are willing to move despite the unknown. Fear isn't your enemy. Fear is simply your mind trying to protect you from unfamiliar situations. The problem begins when you allow that fear to make your decisions. Growth only happens when you step into places where you've never been before. Every new skill, every successful business, every groundbreaking invention, and every remarkable life began with someone who accepted discomfort as the price of progress. You'll never know every answer before you begin, and you don't need to. The first version of your idea won't be perfect. Your first attempt may fail. Your second attempt may reveal problems you never expected. That's exactly how progress works. You build, you learn, you improve, and then you build again. Perfection is not the starting point, it's the result of relentless refinement. Don't confuse preparation with procrastination. Learning is valuable, planning is necessary, and strategy matters. But there comes a point when gathering more information becomes an excuse to avoid taking the leap. At that moment, action becomes more valuable than another week of thinking. The future isn't waiting for the most prepared person. It's waiting for the one who has the courage to begin. Take the first step today and let your actions create the confidence you've been waiting for. Before you leave this moment and return to your daily routine, I want to ask you for one thing. Don't make this another speech that inspires you for a few minutes and then fades into the background. Information alone has never changed anyone's life. Transformation happens when a single decision becomes a daily habit. What you've heard today only matters if it changes what you do next. You don't need to announce your ambitions to the world. In fact, some of the most important decisions you'll ever make should remain private until they've become reality. There is something powerful about working quietly while your results speak for themselves. Too many people chase the feeling of progress by talking about their goals instead of pursuing them. They mistake attention for achievement. Don't fall into that trap. Make a promise to yourself that no one else needs to hear. Promise that you'll stop waiting for permission. Promise that you'll think independently instead of following the crowd. Promise that you'll treat failure as feedback instead of defeat. Promise that you'll guard your time, take bold action, and refuse to let fear decide your future. Those promises don't need applause. They need consistency. There will be days when your motivation disappears. There will be mornings when everything feels harder than it does today. In those moments, don't rely on emotion. Rely on the commitment you've made to yourself. Discipline carries you when inspiration is nowhere to be found. Small actions repeated over months and years will always outperform short bursts of excitement. One day, your life will look completely different from where it is today. You'll solve problems that seem impossible right now. You'll develop skills you don't yet have. You'll become stronger through challenges you can't currently imagine. When that day comes, you'll realize there wasn't one magical breakthrough that changed everything. There were hundreds of quiet decisions that nobody noticed except you. That's why I want this message to stay between you and your future self. Every choice you make from this point forward is a conversation with the person you're becoming. Every hour invested wisely, every obstacle you refuse to surrender to, every courageous step into uncertainty is another vote for the future you truly want. Years from now, when people ask what changed your life, they may never know about this moment, but you will.